Welcome back, everyone, to episode 16. We've got a very special guest here today, George Moulos, a good friend of mine, also a relative of mine, who I haven't seen in a fucking long time because he's been traveling the world and smashing it abroad. How are you, man? And thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Good. It's not many of my relatives that I am friends with, so let's say something, man.
Mate, I'll cop that one. I'll cop that one. No,
I'll be good. I'm in Barcelona right now.
What time is it there?
It is 1:01 p.m. midday.
Oh,
Basically.
nice. No lockdowns, or are there lockdowns?
Sexy
We
Europe.
did have time at the start of it, man. We did. I was actually here back in Barcelona at the start of lockdown in March last year. So yeah, we did have time, and everyone's vaccinated and shit now. So back to
Very lucky. Yeah, we're like a year behind here. Hopefully in the next couple months. But what can you do?
I want to jump straight into it.
Yeah, go for it.
Mate, I want to go back all the way a long, long time ago, right? I remember year 9 and 10, mining engineering was the thing. I remember every
I remember on the bus as well, mining engineering.
Every sand dunes run, bro. I'm going to fucking dig this mining engineering. And then
Very sexy.
There was a flick of a switch somewhere in year 11, maybe year 12, and it became more about business than having a career, more about running your own thing and doing your own thing and being your own boss and sort of defining your own rules. And I just want to know, like, where did that come from? Because to me, it seems sudden because it was almost an instant thing for me. But run us through that, because that's the main thing I want to really know.
And you know, good question, man. I asked myself this question. So, man, you know, like my mom, who fucking, you know, is my biggest inspiration and made me who I am. She always said, you know, whatever you do, be the best at it, right? And I took that maybe in the wrong way. I took it as like 100% or nothing, right?
Yeah.
So like, it was a subject of school that I didn't like. I'm getting 0 out of 0. Like, I don't give a fuck. But if I care about it and I like it, I'll do my best. I'll go crazy on it. And that's how I do everything. Like, so in probably year 9, year 10, when I kind of said to myself, I want to get ahead of everyone. That's when I did a bunch of work. I was just asking everyone's parents, I'm like, what the fuck do you do? Like, are you good at what you do? If you are, let me have a chat with you, talk about career. Because I didn't want to be lost. I didn't want to be one of these kids like 34 is like, oh, well, you know, I just did 3 degrees, but I don't know what I want to do. Nah, fuck that. I want to know like 5 years before I even leave high school, so I can get ahead of everyone. And what was the other Turkish kid's name in our fucking year, man? I remember it was Turkish, and his dad worked at Saab.
Mining engineer. I think it is. Mining.
Yeah. So his dad was in his dad was a professor at UNSW, and I was hitting up everyone. And mining engineering was the highest paid job straight out of university. That's why I picked it. You know, and then I went on some like excursion type thing to the Hunter Valley where all the mines are and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, money's money. So what do I care what I do? And then I met a mining engineer. I'm like, what's it like, man? Like, what are we looking at here? He's like, yeah, you just do maths all day. You don't really talk to people. I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'm not doing that. And then I started ticking things off that I didn't want to do. And then I met an accountant through Mr. What's his name? Carl Watson, the guy who organizes the alumni in Newington. Yeah. And I started meeting accountants, investment bankers, and all this stuff. And I realized all the stuff that I liked about, I knew that I didn't like most of these guys' things and what they did. But what I did like is the guys who started the company. So the guys who started like Rio Tinto, Glencore, all these entrepreneurs who started these businesses, I was always fascinated by their stories. So while I was ticking off all the jobs and careers I didn't like, I realized I liked the guys who started this stuff. Mm-hmm. But really, if there was any like sudden thing for me, it was probably, I remember it was one New Year's Eve, and I set like 3 goals. 1, I want to become much more social. I want to be much more extroverted than I usually am. 2, I wanted to, you know, really dive into like business and entrepreneurship and stuff and read books about it and stuff. And then 3 was start working out, right?
Was this while still at school?
Yeah. I would have been, I want to say 15. So whatever year that turns out to be. And And I basically was like, and then the first day I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go for a run, right? And you guys remember me. I'm a short motherfucker. Like my body's built to not run.
You're got the standard Spartan body.
Stocky.
Static. That's me, right? So I'm like, let me run because I would suck at that. I woke up the first day of what's that? 2013 probably. Yeah, 2013. And I ran like 300 meters. I'm like, what the fuck? Get the fuck back to bed. Get the fuck out of here. I went straight back to bed. And I remember I forgot my alarm. I left it on at 5 a.m. The next day I wake up, I'm like, what the fuck, 5 a.m.? I'm like, fuck it, I'm up now. And I got into a habit of working out and running. And that's when, still to this day, like I work out every day. And that's been a background of a lot of my discipline throughout everything. So that was one of the three things. And the other thing was like being more social and business. And for those two things, I started diving into books and TV shows and movies, anything I could get, culture, books, whatever, about entrepreneurship. And that year I kind of realized, oh, wait a second, there's no other option for me. This is what I want to do. And it was almost like I was scared to tell my parents because my mom would be like, man, I remember telling my mom, like, because then, 6, 7, 8 months go by. And then I ran like a half marathon, a quarter marathon, Southern to Surf. And that's like when the running and the fitness shit kind of got on track. And then I did, and I was networking heaps with all the alumni and stuff. And then someone created like a Facebook group. And Tiernan Christensen, man, my fucking memory is fantastic. This fucking guy from what's that douchebag? Fucking King's School, right? He went to King's School, and he finished. I was in like year 9. He would have been like 2-3 years into university, and he created a startup, right? Bullshit startup, nothing special. And then he created a Facebook group with all the like kids in our year, right, or the year below or something.
Is this the Born of HSC discussion group?
Yeah, so he kind of started that, and then I see that I message him because he added me too. I was like, "What's this?" Because I just want to help people. I'm like, "What's this?" That I goes, we're doing a startup, this and that. I slept on it. I woke up the next day, and I put together like a 4-page plan about how my marketing agency, which didn't exist, can help him build these groups. Right? He goes, "Okay, do it." I was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "What's the cost?" I'm like, $500 a week. He goes, "Okay." I was like, "Sick."
Fuck.
I was still working at McDonald's at the time, right? So I was like, fuck, I'm quitting McDonald's. And I started doing that. I remember it was like, it lasted a month because they didn't know what they were doing. But I still took my $2,000 home, right? And I bought like this nice Emporio Armani watch with like the black strap. Still have it here. And then they're like, yeah, we fucking ran out of money. And they're always douchebags to me. They'd always, like, I don't know if you guys experience this, but like, you ever work in a corporate environment and like the boss or whoever will speak to others like, well, I think we need to go through and see if there's any synergies. And they're like, oh, hey man, you good, bro? You good? Like they'll speak to you like you're a bro. Like, all right. Yeah. They always did that. I was pissed off about that. And they would always pay me late and stuff. And then anyway, one day I'm in the back. I remember they picked me up from Central Station and I was in the middle seat of like some fucking car and I was being douchebags in, just like being douchebags. And I remember King Kunta by Kendrick Lamar was playing. Yeah. Like, fuck these motherfuckers. On my iPod Touch, I wrote in, create your own HSC groups and do affiliate marketing on them. I'm like, yeah, fuck these motherfuckers. And then when they fired me, whatever, I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit. And then a week later, I created like 20 fucking HSC discussion groups, Facebook group stuff, added a ton of people to them. And then I added all these like viral ways to make them grow even bigger. And they grew to like 10, 20, 30,000 people. And I started selling tutoring, blah, 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 and all this schoolies and all this stuff on them. And I created websites on the back.
I remember the schoolie stuff.
Yeah, I annoyed everyone. And I remember everyone in our year, the years above, the years below, hated me, bro. Hated me. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't have to work at McDonald's or fucking Fruitex anymore, so I could give a shit.
Fruitex, fuck. There's fucking throwbacks here galore.
Yeah, man.
I've got no idea what Fruitex is.
Fruitex is a Kitherian-owned... Kithera is where I'm from, and parts of Costan's family is from in Greece, where they call them the Jews of Greece, because there's always like a ton of billionaires from Kithera, all very, very successful. And we're mostly in Sydney. Somehow fucking, I slipped through the cracks there. Not fucking killing it, but whatever. But no, they're super successful businessmen. And what was my fucking point? So anyway, I created all those Facebook groups and Yeah, and then I, didn't have to work anymore, laboring with my hands. So I was like, I can just work from home in my bed and do some Facebook bullshit.
Yeah,
This is fantastic. So that was kind of the year. That would have been year 10, year 11, year 12. I was like, why would I do mining engineering when I can make more money just doing this online shit? And like those last 2 years, especially year 11, year 12, I realized everything that we were told was bullshit. And I got this mad, like, part of it was probably ego. Part of it was probably but part of it was like, what they're teaching us here, I don't believe in. Like, you want me to go study, go get a job, study like crazy, do the HSC, go study at university for 4 or 5 years, and then get a job. And then in 10 years after that, we're talking mid-30s, then I'll kind of be able to make the money, have the power and freedom to do what I want. That's a scam. Fuck that. I think that skepticism is what kind of started me and got me. I get all that skepticism from my mom. But yeah, I would probably say like that's what clicked. I was like, nah, I'm not taking. And like all the teachers and stuff that I had like probably authority issues with, I was like, you are not where I want to be. So why would I listen to you? Like, you're not where I want to be. So why would I take any advice from you guys? And yeah, man, that's what clicked. I kind of realized, and it wasn't just like a one night, one thing happened, but through year 11, I was like, you know what? I don't need this, I don't need these people. I just didn't, it's not that I didn't respect them, but I realized they didn't understand what I wanted to achieve. And no one really did. I think like no one really understood what I wanted to do. I think that's why most people in our years, high school, didn't like me. But I was cool with that. I never had an issue with people not liking me or not, I'm happy to do to do what I want. And that's probably when it clicked, when I was in year 11, year 10, year 11. But yeah, kind of a gradual thing.
Why do you think it clicked so early? Because I would say I agree from someone in your year at the time didn't get what you wanted. Didn't make sense.
Yeah, I had no fucking clue, and I saw you every day.
Because, for example, the stage, how old am I? 23 now. I understand what you're saying. Year 11, no idea. So why do you think you back then had that kind of inclination? We'll call it that.
I asked myself, man, because everyone I meet, all my friends are like 30, 40, right? Even here in Barcelona, all my new friends are like 30.
You'd have to be in different circles.
Yeah, man. I always had like an older mentality. I think that's because like, my mom never bullshitted me, right? She never like let me believe in something dumb or like she was a savage and she made me into a savage, right? And that's, I think, the thing I'm most grateful for from her. And like she never, said, and look, we went to a fucking rich people school. We went to a rich white people school. And there's good minorities in this school, but the reality is it's a fucking Anglican school, 150 years old, okay? And there's a bunch of minorities, right? So one, I didn't fit in. I never felt like I fit in. And you guys probably felt a bit the same, right? Went to this school. It was like this big thing to go into Newington and all this bullshit. And you're like, you know what? Like, I never felt in place, not just from a, white fucking Anglican school and where, dark-skinned Orthodox or whatever the fuck, but like money-wise, most of if we look at like our year, most people had wealthy fucking families. Some ridiculously wealthy, but most high middle class wealthy, right? And I never felt like I fit into that. So I felt like the rules didn't apply to me in a certain way. Like, oh yeah, just go to university and then live with your parents for 10 years and then you'll be okay. Then they'll help you out. No, that was never going to happen for me, right? So I never had that sort of a mentality. And my mom told me like, inheritance, fuck you. I'm spending it all before I hit the fucking grave.
That's what my mom should be. That's what my mom said. She's like, fuck that. Dad and I go on a fucking 10-year holiday when you guys.
100%. I'm like, you're crazy. I'll help you fucking spend it. Go nuts. And I love that. Really, I love that. And you kind of resent it when you're young. You're like, why would you do that? It's mean. It's like, no, that's what you need to do. Right? And man, I was never like, I never had like super close family. Like all my grandparents are dead. I never met them. All my like family outside of my immediate family lives in like northern suburbs, eastern suburbs. I lived in the Shire, in Coston, right? And so we weren't close. I wasn't close with any of my, external family, and even my immediate family I wasn't close with, right? So I was always a bit of a loner in that way. I felt like I was a bit of an outlier. So, and left to my own devices, you give me just a laptop in a room, I'm going to just like Google shit and like find stuff. And because I was a little bit of a lonely kid on my own time, if I wasn't a school, I was a lonely kid playing video games, whatever, right? And I would immediately just start like, I would waste a ton of time playing video games, but I would like play video games and then watch like a documentary or like an awesome movie. I'm like, fuck, that's kind of cool. Maybe I want that. So I think for me, it's I developed what I wanted because I had the pressure from my mom. So hey, go do shit because there's no easy path, right? And it's weird because my mom wanted me to be the best at whatever I wanted to do, but she had this kind of a path laid out from university, this, like any immigrant fucking parent.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of being a parent. You kind of know what you want your kid to do, but you don't know the full story. And sometimes that's gonna clash. But that's the struggle of being a parent. But yeah, I think my thing, why I knew what I wanted to do so fast was because, I knew I didn't have time to waste. I knew I didn't have some lifelines, like most people have. I knew that we're getting straight into the thick of it. And my home situation was fucking crazy. Every day going home was crazy. From my dad to my sister, it was always crazy. So for me, there was no like rest, chill out.
Like a safety net kind of thing?
There was no chill. There was no chill. At school, you're under pressure. You got to do this, you got to do that, shave your beard, fuck you. Like all these little fucking things that kind of piss you off through the day. There was no like, go home, take it easy. I would go home, they'd be fucking yelling, they'd be craziness, this happened, that happened. I'm like, fuck, can I take a break? So for me, I never kind of relaxed in that way. And I knew I needed to get my shit together if I wanted to leave this situation. So, through high school, it's like, I want to get ahead of everything. I want to be the best at whatever I want to do. So let me read, let me do this, let me do that. And I had this big thing in my head, how I didn't want to hinder myself in any way by fucking up school or fucking up my own development. Because for me, I like 15, 16, around the same time I realized I want to be an entrepreneur, I realized that I'm my parent. I know what's best for me better than teachers, mentors, parents. I know what's best for me. And that's kind of a big thing for anyone to realize. Like, fucking dogs are going crazy. That's kind of a big thing for anyone to realize that they know what's best for them, right? They know what's best for them in terms of career, in terms of mental or physical health. Like, for the most part, most people think, your parents know what's best for you well into your 20s. 15, I'm like, all right, my mom's a legend, but I now need to take the reins over. And you have to be your own mentor. That means you also have to be your own, you have to be strict with yourself. You can't let things go like, hey, let me do this, let me do that. So I think for me, I jumped into what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be, and with certainty, because I know there's no real other life. Because I saw a lot of other lives. I always think about like forks in the road in my life. Like, I was working at McDonald's from 13, 9 months, or 14, 9 months, right? And I would do weekends, like Sunday close, Saturday close, and holidays all the time. Back area. Fucking hate it. I worked in Miranda. I was like, this is what a job is. This is what a job is, right? Fuck this. Like, I hated it so much. I had this fat boss that was a bitch. I'm like, this is what people do. This is real life. This is terrible. And then, before that, I helped my dad and my mom every now and then with cutting lawn and doing this and gardening and stuff. I'm like, this fucking sucks. This really sucks. And I would do anything to not do this, right? And then I also worked at Food Checks, and that was even worse. Like in the sun doing 40 foot containers. I'm like, this really fucking sucks. And Food Checks is a factory, right? I was like, this all sucks. And this is what happens if you're not the best at what you do and you don't take risks in your life. And I would rather, it sounds extreme, but I'd rather kill myself than do anything but what I'm doing. Because if that's the option, a normal job, fuck that. And beyond just, manual labor type jobs, office jobs. I've had office jobs. I last 30 days. Like, after high school, I've had office jobs. I last 30 days because I start working for the company. And then I'm like, fuck, I'm working so hard for someone else right now when I could be doing this for myself. And the only reason I'm not is because I don't believe myself. So I had a job, it was at a startup, and I hated all the people there and they hated me, as per usual. And 3 days in, I'm like, okay, let me fucking do something, for myself. So I would work there. I'm like, I'm going to go to the meeting room so I could just have a bit of space. I started my own business on the side. And then 15 days in, I'm making money from it. I'm like, fuck this job. And I would show up 15 minutes late. They're like, oh, you're supposed to come in at like 8 o'clock. I'm like, the contract says 9. They're like, yeah, but wait. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So they took issue with me. I took issue with them. After 30 days, they're like, we're gonna have to let you go. I'm like, all right, cool. I know. I just can't last. So for me, I always knew that I was never gonna work for someone else. It's not even an option. And I've been broke many times since high school, too many times since high school. And no matter what, I know there's no other option. And my business now, we do big deals, right? And there's a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And in those down periods, you of course doubt yourself, right? That's part of being an entrepreneur. There's huge doubt and uncertainty. But then you have to kind of say, well, what are you going to do, man? You're going to get a job. You know what's going to happen. 30 days, and then you're going to start something new. So just do it now. Skip that 30 days and all that bullshit, and just get right to it. So yeah, that's probably the answer.
The thing I want to know, because you've been saying a lot about like how much the money side of things means to you. How was it? Well, there's a couple of things. When you first became an entrepreneur and took the step and started your own company, obviously you didn't just get money straight away. I don't know what your financial situation is now, but obviously there'd be ups and downs. And especially at the beginning, I remember a few of your YouTube videos, your cold calls and stuff, you were getting rejections heaps. And the fact that money plays so much of a part in what you did in high school to where you want to be in the future, how did you handle, first of all, not having the money? And second of all, having the uncertainty of ever getting the money, because it seems like that was the overarching catalyst for what you did.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting question. So like, one thing is I always understood the value of money. Always. Because my mom never gave me cash. You know, kids, oh, here's your pocket money. You get white friends as a kid, like, here's $15. No, never. I remember one time I played football, soccer, at Box Road and Sylvania Heights Box Road. We played there, and every other Saturday, you know how your parents would go in the canteen and help out and shit?
Yeah.
Well, I was young. I would have been like fucking 7 or something. It was my mom's turn, right? And I never got shit from the canteen. And I went up to the canteen because my mom was working. I'm like, hey, you know what happens on days when your mom's working? We're getting some chips and shit. I line up. I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill. I go, my mom's like, what do you want? I'm like, chips and lollies. And she's like, all right, it's 3:30. What? She's like, you got $3? Like, no, you got me? She's like, no. She's like, get the fuck out of the line. I was like, fuck. So it was there was no free lunch, right? And which was good because, and at times, like even when I was broke and I was in 161 Crown Street in Darlinghurst when I was straight out of high school, I was broke. And I was like, Mom, loan me $300. I just need to make rent this week. I'll pay you $600 next week. I've got an invoice coming in. And she's like, no way. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you don't help your own fucking son? What the fuck? And she made me feel bad. She's like, how could you do this to me? I'm like, what? But I get it. That's how I become a savage because, like, because of all these scenarios where I've been broke, I've built this like hustler mentality, right? And I always understood the value of money. So, for example, for me, I've had a changed relationship with money over time, right? But as a salesman, because there's startups and then there's businesses. Startups live in a fantasy land with unicorns and fairies and delusion and bullshit, right? I don't live in that world, right? I live in the world of business where we're profitable from day one. Every business I've ever started, I've started with no money. And then in a week, we had money. We validated in days, usually 24 hours. So, for me, startups, like I don't have a startup. I have a business. I've never made a startup. Don't necessarily want to make a startup. Always prefer businesses. And that's why I sell businesses now. And so, for example, I'll tell a few stories here to answer your question. So HSC Notes, right? I started HSC Notes. It was I think it was a Thursday night. It was 2017. I was living in 161 Crown Street. I remember Adam Miller, who also went to our school, right? Was living with me. And I overspent on a Facebook ad, right? So I was like negative $300 on a debit card, right? I don't even know how that happens. They're like, yeah, you overspend, this is what happened, right? I remember I was watching 300, the movie, again. And I went downstairs. I was like, fuck, Miller, look at this shit. And I was like negative $300. He's like, fuck, man, like, do you need some cash? I'm like, relax. I got this shit. I got an ID. And I always write a diary all the time, right? And I remember from like in year 9, I wrote HSC Notes, like you sell fucking digital notes. And this was like 3 years later. After when I wrote the idea, I'm like, I go through all my books. I find the book. I find the page. I'm like, and I write it up on a whiteboard. I'm like, Miller, You got time? He goes, I got time. You got 25% of the company. I'm going to go find the notes online, free fucking what's that? Board of Studies, BORED, these fucking people. I rip all these notes from this from the website, and at the privacy policy said, use them if you want. It's free. It's .org. Do what you want. I was like, sure. So I get them, and then I get Adam Miller to review and change them and make them better. And he's like a 99.8 or something. But he was dealing with the quality. I just went onto the Facebook group and was like, who wants to buy $10 notes? 500, 600 people replied. I was like, perfect. And then the next day we had like the first 6 subjects ready. And I started like, what do you want? I started messaging, adding all these kids and then messaging them, send paper here, send paper there, send this to the bank. And then within 24 hours, we had like $1,000. By the next weekend, we had like $4,000, right? And then, we made the website and this and that and all that stuff. And that business lasted for like a couple years, right? That was a solid business. And that came from me being broke and that just having a hustle mentality. A few months later, I was broke again. And I would wake up every day. The first thing I would do, I would check my NAB, National Australia Bank mobile fucking app, right? I wake up, check my app. I'm like, whew. Sometimes I go back to bed if there's not enough in the account. What am I going to do? It's supposed to always to be paid. If there's no money, there's no day. Fuck it. And then, anyway, I wake up one day, I had $4 in my bank account. I'm like, I can work with that. I get up, I go across the road to Philosophy Cafe. A Chinese couple had it. And I was like, I get a coffee because we're Greeks. We got to start with the coffee. $4.
You need your cafe.
Back to zero. I'm not starting the day without a coffee, right? And I was like, and I had the coffee. I'm like, can I pay you tomorrow? She's like, sure. That Chinese lady she was the best. I remember one time I told the Chinese lady I'm broke. She's like, work harder. I always think about that. Anyway, that's the story. And I was thinking at the cafe. I'm thinking there. I'm like, what should I do? Sipping my cappuccino, my $4 cappuccino while I'm broke. I'm like, I got it. I was scrolling on Facebook, and what do you call it when people put their fucking couches and shit on the lawn for that one day a year in Australia?
I know what you're talking about.
Like tip when the fucking
for the tip. Yeah.
So I was living in Darlinghurst, and I saw I saw someone like trying to sell shit on Facebook Marketplace, and I saw fucking everyone's dirty fucking cum fucking stained couches and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. I'm fucking 10 minutes away from Point Piper, like the most expensive suburbs in Australia. Whatever they're chucking out, someone from Bankstown will buy. That was my idea, right? So I get on a train, and I get to Point Piper, whatever. I just jumped the turnstile thing. And then I get off, and I remember I bought a pack of, Camel Lights. And I was like, all right, let's get to work. I was walking up Point Piper because Point Piper was like that. I just went to the first house. Beautiful white couch, pristine condition. They're chucking out these dumb white people. So I take a few pictures with my phone. I posted it to Facebook Marketplace. I said, if this is we bought this thing for $30,000. If you can pick it up in the next half an hour, I'll give it to you for $500 cash. 15 minutes later, some guy with the van pulls up. I'm just sitting on the couch, smoking Camel Lights. And they're like, they come to the house, they're like, George? I'm like, yeah. It's like, we're here for the cash. I'm like, you got the cash? It's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, great. I was negotiating. Everyone likes to haggle, right? Even though we agreed to a price. It's like, we can do 400. I'm like, 500, go fuck yourself. First thing, cash paid. And I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm in front of someone else's house, sitting on their couch, smoking a cigarette until people with ridiculous looking like shitty cars come up and sell this stuff. Went to the next house. New fucking armoire, like big, thing. Post pictures, sell it. I finished the day with like $4,000, and I just went home. And I remember my housemate Liam, he was like, "Hey, dog, what are we doing tonight?" I'm like, "We're partying, bitch. We're fucking partying." So why? And we're both broke. And if you have a friend that you're broke and he's broke, you're both broke. Whatever money he's got, you've got. Whatever money you've got, he's got. So one day he had like $1,000 pop up in his bank account. That means I had $1,000 pop up in my bank account, right? So when I had $4,000, $2,000 goes to Liam, $2,000 goes to me. Monday, that was like a Friday. Monday, we were fucking out again, right? No money, start again. But like, that's just the hustle mentality, right? And that comes from, being broke and not having help. Like something Liam, same bloke, told me like something, a good fucking trick that he does, right? He's broke. If you wake up broke one day, you got a list of 20 a list of 20 ways to make money. The first 5 are, get a job, do this, pick up casual work, whatever, bartender. Your next 10 are reasonable, like 5 to 15 are reasonable. And the last 5 are fucking ridiculous. Like, start, fucking belly dancing. And you're like, okay, that's a bit ridiculous. But those last 5 are usually the best. And so all my business ideas have come from that last 5. But further to the point, so like for me, money has always been something that pays bills. It's a tool to live a bit longer and have a bit more track, right? My mind is always saying money is track, right? And then in the past few years, especially when I left Australia in 2019.
Yeah, I want to get to all that.
Yeah, at that point, it was like, you realize, for me now, money's just track, like runway, right? So I just require a certain amount of money each month to operate myself and my business. Now, anything I have above that is unnecessary to me, right? I've thought about shit I want to buy. I don't want to buy anything really for myself materialistic. I have 2 bags. Anything I buy, I have to carry. So unless I'm replacing something, there's no real need for it, right? And like the logistics behind buying dumb shit is a hindrance. Like, always wanted a Rolex. Okay. I've been to Mexico. I've been to New York. I've been to Cyprus. I've been to Rome. I've been to Sicily. You want to go to these places with 50 grand on your watch and you want to walk around like no one's going to rob you? I would rob me. Let's see me with a watch, I'd rob me. Not because I'm a criminal. I don't even want the money. Just to, on principle, you're going to wear a Rolex here. Fuck you.
Yeah, I get that. 100%.
And then you're going to insure it. I'm going to insure something. Like, fuck that. I don't need something to be a hindrance, right? So like for me, like there's nothing I really want. It kind of sucks because I want to celebrate a deal. I got a deal, great, let's celebrate. There's nothing I want to buy. So for me, it's just a tool. So like, for example, if a huge deal of mine closes, it does nothing for me. And I've had them close and I've had them not close and nothing really changes, right? You have 3 days where you're on top of the world, huge ego. You're like, get the champagne, let's go crazy. You go on a few crazy, nights out with the boys. You spend some dumb money. Then you're like, wait a second. All my problems are the same. All my problems are not related to money. And I used to live in the world where if I have no money, then for me, that indicated that I'm a loser because I'm a salesman. I'm a business person. If you don't make money, you're not good at what you do, right? Because that's the indicator. If you're an artist, your indicator is not money. If you're a salesman, your indicator is money. That's the measurement, right? That is the units that you need to measure yourself in. So that's how it worked for me. But yeah, right now, say, okay, just put in the investment, invest in the business, invest in, whatever, property, whatever. But beyond that, it's just a tool. And I wish it was the case where, it did more for you, but I've been in the lowest lows and seen the highest highs. It's not that bad. There's no difference to me. Ultimately, it's just a matter of how you deal with the journey. And I've gotten good in that. I've always had problems with anxiety. I've had depression and shit. For me, it's not the money that really changes everything. And because now I'm so desensitized to the ups and downs, it makes no difference to me, the money I have, because one, I know I can go get some more. And as long as I'm working my fucking ass off every day and taking risks, that's all I can do. So I'm not going to, like the Stoics say, worry about the things you can control. And if you can't control it, don't break your balls over it. I don't think the Stoics said it like that, but something like that.
Bro, very nice to hear your story and your perspective. I want to get to your traveling, but the first thing I want to know from what you just said is, how do you think you've changed from when? So we saw you last 5 years ago from now, and obviously you've gone through a lot. How do you think you've changed?
Man, it's crazy you say that because I create my own traditions, right? It's weird shit I do because I'm not religious. I don't spend time with family, so I create my own traditions. So the 4th of August is when I moved out of home. 4th of August, 2016. Ides of March is when I did my first big deal. And I have all these dates that I celebrate. And anyway, in August 4th this year was 5 years since I moved out of home. And that's when I was like, I'm doing what I'm doing. And anyone who doesn't like it can go fuck themselves. That's when I moved out of home. And it's around the same time period. And I think the biggest thing is being the certainty, right? Now I know exactly who I am. I don't feel nervous around new people. relax there. Like when I try new shit, I don't really get like. Recently here in Barcelona, I got into doing a bit more stand-up comedy. I did a bit in the past, but now I'm doing a bit more now, every other night. And I don't feel nervous. It's weird because, like, one sec, let me fix this fucking thing. Relax, go.
Gonna go bash the dog now.
Yeah, I'm just doing a fucking headlock. No, like I don't get like I'm so sure of myself. And not from an arrogance thing, but like out of like I've just done.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Like I hang out mainly with older people, and they get me, and I get them because I've lived like 25 years in the last 5 years. I've seen two like extreme experiences, crazy shit. Like I feel I'm tired. You know, like I'm tired from not a long weekend of sleeping is gonna fix. I'm tired like a lifetime. Like I'm about halfway. Like if I gotta live past 50, fuck. Like I don't know, man. That's too long, dog. This shit's gone too long. So for me, it's a matter of like I've just done a lot of stuff and I experienced a lot, and I'm happy I have. I don't regret any of it that much. But yeah, you know, it's I think the biggest thing that's changed is that certainty about who I am, what I want to do. Because, I mean, you know, at our age, that's the coming of age type of thing you got to do in your 20s. Who the fuck are you? What do you want to do? That's really all you have to achieve in your 20s. Figure out what you want to do and then get started.
Go after it, yeah.
That's only to-do list for your 20s, right? Get laid, whatever. Do mushrooms once or twice. That's the to-do list in your 20s. But, like, yeah, I knew that. Wait, let me just...
Go. Yeah, go. Sort it.
Let's get back to it.
Get going, bro.
So, yeah, man, for me, I that's probably the biggest thing. I think one of the other things is like much more disciplined, and I've taken like active care of my mental health because that's something that always went rampant for me. My mental health. So yeah, I think it all relates to being more sure of myself. Like now, there's nothing that can get to me because I've just seen it all. No one can hurt, like, you kind of realize no one can hurt you as much as you can hurt you. So, okay, say what you want, you know, I don't give a shit. And if it hurts me, I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, that's I'm learning about
part of it must be true then if it hurt you.
Yeah, right? So nothing that like, okay, yesterday I fucking did some stand-up and yesterday I killed it. I was like, fuck, this is the upside. But on Monday I died. I bombed like fucking Hiroshima. It was terrible, right? Died. But I'm like... You feel bad for the 30 seconds after the show, then you're like, all right, I don't fucking know these people.
You got up there anyway.
Yeah, what do I care, man? You win some, you lose some, and then you forget about it 10 minutes later. Like, you realize just it's not one, like, I don't really give a shit. And two, it's like, for me, it's like no one, like the only thing I really care about, do I have food on the table and a roof over my head? Yeah. Can anyone affect that? No. I work for myself. What are you going to do? Put a news article out there, my fucking clients don't give a shit. They're going to still come to me. Like nothing's going to change that, right? And when you realize no one can fuck with the way you feed yourself, then okay, well, why do I care? If I want to go do something because that's me being me, why would I care about, someone's opinion of if they don't agree? Okay, don't agree. What are you going to do? What the fuck are you going to do? Seriously, tell me. Like nothing's going to happen.
Nothing.
So for me, it's not a big deal in that capacity. So certainty of who I am is probably the biggest difference the last 5 years.
How did you go socially when you left home and more so when you went overseas in terms of finding new friends? Because you'd have to, social aspects, massive
moving
part
to
of
a
being
whole other country continually by yourself.
It's a massive part of being human as well, having that social aspect. So how do you, first of all, make friends, manage your friendships? Because I'm assuming you have friends in just everywhere. Like, did you have a period of 6 months or whatever it was at the beginning when you first started where it was sort of difficult for you to make new friends? Or is it sort of something that sort of clicks straight away and you could, because you're a good talker, like you could talk to people and get to know them really easily? But I was interested to see what you have to say.
People that understand you as well and people you can trust in particular.
Yeah.
Especially from your first move from school, you just finished and when you went overseas for the first time.
For sure. I always say it as like a hitchhiking. I don't know if you guys ever been hitchhiking, but like when you're hitchhiking, the rule of hitchhiking is if you're not willing to walk the whole way alone, don't fucking go hitchhiking. Sometimes you put your hand out, and sometimes someone will pick you up, and then you get to go, talk with them, enjoy the journey with them, you get to where you're going faster, right? But if you're not willing to go alone, don't fucking start, right? I was always willing to go alone. I remember I went to a party in like year 11 or year 12, and I fucking hated it. Everyone there hated me. I felt super unwelcomed. And I remember thinking, like, no matter what, I'm never going to allow someone to treat me like less than I'm worth, right? And I think that I've had to repeat that to myself a billion times since. And not because I'm so cool and superior. Minimum respect for any human being. And anytime someone comes in below that, they can go fuck themselves. And whether it's your father, your fucking siblings, your closest friends that you've known for years, a girlfriend, fuck them. If they don't know what respect is, minimum levels of respect, you need to have the power to say, go fuck yourself. And that's one of my things. I have no problem saying, go fuck yourself to anybody, right? So when it comes to making friends and keeping friends, that's kind of the same thing, same measurement I use. And to be honest, I fucking hated Sydney and a lot of the friends that I had there. All the friends that I had from, besides, you guys, for example, we always got along. We weren't the closest, but we always got along.
I wouldn't say exactly. It wasn't a love-hate. It was just more like have a chat.
I know you guys know me.
Yeah.
We're not going to play hopscotch on the weekend, but we know each other. But like no one, like I remember, and I always had a hard time with making some friends, right? Because for me, if you're my friend, we're fucking friends till we fucking die. Like I got friends from fucking primary school, from kindergarten and shit. We're friends to this day, right? And we call every other day. And like those sort of friendships, I'm cool with. But I'm not gonna try on a fake bullshit friendship. If it's fake or bullshit, okay, let it be bull. Like I'm not gonna pretend.
Yeah, it's not gonna last anyway.
So, and like of all the kids from our year, I speak consistently every other month with one out of 250 kids, right?
Is it Dio?
Yeah, my man. and like it's crazy to think 250 kids, you spend 6 years together, you're talking to one bloke. It's like, yeah, that's fucking life.
That's
man.
better.
Yeah,
filter the crap.
And you realize when you leave a country or you leave where you grew up, no one really gives a shit about you. But I already knew this. I knew this as a kid. No one gives a shit about you. And if you're not going to do anything for yourself, there's no fucking a Prince Charming is going to save your life and rescue you, right? It's you against the world, me against the world, like Tupac says, right? But I when I left high school, I didn't like most of the kids from my year. Like I fucking hang out with no one except Dion every now and then, right? So I jumped straight into like Facebook groups, self-development groups, fucking fitness groups, boxing groups, or any interest I have, I jumped into those Facebook groups. Now, Facebook groups was where I made my money, where I made my friends, where everything at that stage. So I would just meet random people. And I always had crazy balls. I think back, like a fucking 18-year-old kid meeting the most random motherfuckers. How did I have the balls? Or like, did I think about safety? I went up with the most random places. I'm chilling out with some like 35-year-old North Macedonian dude in his house. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. One of my closest fucking friends to this day, Milo, he's a legend, right? It's, and I've always liked this fucking meeting weird fucking people. Because some of these fucking weirdos end up being the closest fucking most reliable, loyal friends, So I always just tried new shit. And I always never had a problem going out alone and letting the night take me where I may, right? Like, even here in Barcelona to this day, I was like, you know what? I want to go watch a comedy show because I want to, learn a bit and shit. And I went solo. I didn't give a shit. And I met 2-3 guys and they fucking play, what's that shit where you go like that? Fucking volleyball, whatever they're called. And they do that. And they're like, yeah, come. I'm like, there's a friend group right there. Now, I didn't do that because I don't want to play volleyball, but you get my point. Like, I can go out and make friends, right?
Yeah.
And then when I left Australia, you keep, I'm addicted, have been addicted to like throwing things out, right? Cleaning shit up, right? Cutting the fat. So when I leave a country, whether it's Australia or any country I've spent some time in, you have the friends that you made. And if they're shitty bullshit, if they're like circumstantial friends, they're gone. Because a lot of friends you have as a guy is like friends to go out and pick up chicks with, right? And that's a bullshit friendship. If your friendship 100%. Is based on that activity, you're not friends, man. It's circumstantial. Your circumstances dictate you. Like high school friendships. Oh, you were in the same fucking class? We're fucking friends now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not friends, bro. You're circumstantial friends. And as soon as those circumstances change, you're not fucking friends anymore, right? And that's fine. That's not a bad thing. That's a human experience. That's cool. No reason to get caught up in like, fuck you. Like, nah, that's just cool. But with that being said, every city I went to, I did the same thing. First, I say, hey, like on Facebook, wherever, say, who has any friends in Prague? And sometimes there's no friends. You got to do it solo. Many times, like I was in Rome for 2.5 weeks. I thought definitely I know someone here. I didn't know anyone, but I have an ability, or like I have the I can have a day where I don't talk to any fucking human being at all, and I'll have a great day, right?
I was going to ask you that if you ever felt lonely in those times.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. But it's like it's your responsibility. It's not like, well, the world is not talking to me. No, you're not talking to anybody, and you don't know how to manage yourself, right? So like you have to be active in your own restaurant. When I was here in Barcelona at the start of COVID, March, April, May last year, and I was like solo in a foreign country. I wasn't speaking Spanish at the time, and all it was me and a fucking dog, right? And there was no socializing, no nothing, right? I mean, for the first month, I was like, fuck, like, you know, I was really unhappy about stuff. But and the second month, I was like, okay, George, you're gonna sit here and cry, or do you want to go fucking do something? Then I like started pushing the boundaries a bit. I saw there was a rooftop. Boom, I got someone to work out. I saw you can walk the dog as much as you want throughout the day. We're doing marathons, me and this fucking dog, walking around the city, looking at the beautiful architecture. And like in that way, you find shit to do. You build a schedule and a routine throughout the day. And then you finish the day, you're tired. Like, fuck, I don't. And then like the friendships that are important, call them, right? And put a bit into a routine. It's like my friend Thomas, every 2-3 days, we hop on an hour and a half phone call. He talks about his bullshit. I talk about my bullshit. And then, you know, that's what we do. It's a routine. Same with like my mom and my other friends. Like you have a routine of putting the effort into that. And for the people who don't want to put that effort in, that's fine. Like it's not like betrayal or some shit. Your lives aren't, you know, you're not living together. Maybe you don't have enough to talk about. Okay, I get you. And obviously for that reason, you want to have friends that you actually have something in common with, right? But yeah, man, I've definitely felt lonely, like for sure. But now I'm just so active in my own rescue in that sense. You know, Jordan Peterson talks about that. Like, if you're not actively trying to construct a life around you, then don't complain that you're lonely or whatever. Like, I came to Barcelona a week ago, or just over a week ago. I don't know anybody here, right? But you know, now I've been here 10 days. I spent 7 of those 10 days out, either doing stand-up or watching stand-up, making friends. And now I've got like a ton of friends here. They're like, we've got to go do this. We've got to go work on these jokes. Let's go out, do this. And like, and my days are full, you know. And a lot of fucking mental health and dealing with mental health and self-care is making sure, you don't have nothing to do, right? Idle hands at the fucking devil's playthings or whatever, right? And it's true. If you're doing nothing, you're at home. I think a lot of people around the world, especially our generation, from 7 p.m. to going to bed, what the fuck are we doing with our time? What the fuck are we doing with our time that's so important that you can say, well, I did this from 7 p.m. to going to bed on Thursday, and then that was different. Like, we're doing the same nothing every fucking day. It's indistinguishable. It's the same nothing. We're just wasting time, right? And for me, I'm guilty of the same thing. Now, you might work late and this and that, but what are you doing with your spare time that's valuable? Like, just go to fucking bed and wake up earlier if you've got nothing to do. And that's what I would do. Well, I'm going to stand up, stay up, and watch another Netflix bullshit thing that I don't care about, and I can already guess the plot from the picture. Give me a fucking break. I'm just watch the same YouTube videos, go down the same YouTube tunnel. Fuck that. I need to do something different. And even like these stand-up things, like, well, it gives me something to do. I'm working on public speaking. I'm working on a few jokes. I'm making friends. That's something, right? And for me, that's how I fill my day. And that's how I make sure I'm not lonely, whatever the fuck that means now. Because, I don't know where I fucking heard this, or even I did Nippers. Is it called Nippers? Nippers. When you're
Nippers.
Nippers.
There you go. I'm not speaking Chinese here.
You're a shy boy. Of course you did, nippers.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes I say shit, and people are like, "What the fuck did you say?" I was photocopying a few documents, and this guy was like, "I don't understand your English." I'm like, "What do you want me to do, guy?" And I put on an American accent. He's like, "Oh, entiendo. I understand now." I was like, "Okay." But anyway, point being, with surf lifesaving, if there's someone drowning, right? There's someone in Bondi Beach, never went swimming before, and they come to a beach, and they're dying, right? And then you go out with a little fucking paddleboard to save the motherfucker. The rule is, if they're bringing you down and they're not listening to you, like get on the board, do it like this, and they're just pulling you down. Instead of 2 people drowning, you gotta let that motherfucker go, right? You need the person, the rescuee, the person who's going to be rescued, needs to listen and get active in their own rescue. If they just want to bring motherfuckers down and go for air, they're useless. You gotta fucking let them go. And your friends and family trying to help you, there's nothing they can do because you're gonna take them down with them. That's the same with a lot of different things in life. Any form of addiction, depression, anxiety, I think that's a perfect fucking example. You need to be active in your own rescue. And I'm always active in my own rescue. And even when I'm doing well, I'm not in any bad state right now. But I'm like, okay, I'm in a new city. I know I want to spend 6 months here. And if I don't put together proper, solid routine throughout the week, I'm going to go through the bullshit ups and downs that I always go with. And my Sundays, I used to hate Sundays. I used to really hate Sundays. It's a fucking family day. You want to spend time with the fucking dogs? Fuck that. Let me go do something. Let me make some friends. Let me go do stand-up. Whatever it is, I've got to be active and I've got to do something. And when you fill your day with people and with things, it's that's the shit you really think about. Like as I was reflecting, I was telling you on those last 5 years, I was like, what are the best moments? I did like thinking to myself, like a highlight reel. What's the best moments? And, it's not the huge deal that I got or this deal or that deal. It's never that shit. It's like the fucking times I fucking like vomited because I was laughing too much with my friend. Or that awesome, relationship with a woman I had in that weekend, we did fucking nothing. Or like whatever it might be. It's the time with people, right? And, just chilling out and doing nothing with someone a lot of the time is fucking much better than doing nothing by yourself, right? So that's how I kind of put together, and deal with the loneliness of making new friends and starting again and starting fresh.
Do you think it gets easier for you? Because obviously the first time doing something like that, you need to have the balls to do that. And then I'm assuming every time you do that, it just gets easier for you. Because at the end of the day, you made a good point. Like relationships are what builds a happy, from my perspective at least, relationships is what build a happy life. Not money, not things. It's just relationships that you build and maintain, like proper ones, like you said, because there is a lot of bullshit, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, man. And I love being confrontational. I love confrontation so much. Because like this comedian who he added me on fucking Instagram and I added him back. He's like, oh, I hate these people who like you add them and then they unfollow you after a few days. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I do that. So why would you do that? I'm like, well, if I don't like you, why would I follow you? He's like, fair enough. I'm like, I'm not going to follow someone I don't fucking like. And if you don't fucking do anything on whatever Instagram or whatever the fuck is popular these days, why would I follow you? I don't want to see your shit. Like it's something I love doing every birthday. This is fucked up. Like if someone posts on my happy birthday on my wall or whatever the fuck it's called on Facebook, and I don't know them, I unfriend them. I don't know you. Well, you said happy birthday to me. I'm not going to say it back to you. What do you think this is? Fake bullshit? No. Like I had this one friend who stabbed me in the fucking back, right? Really hard, and he knew it. And then he's like, Happy New Year. I hate you. You hate me. Why can't we just hate each other? Like, fucking don't lie, right? So anyway, my point being is I got no time for bullshit in that way. And if someone's done something wrong, I'll either let them know to correct it if I care enough about the relationship. And if not, I'll just fucking ghost them because fuck them. I don't have some necessity or need to be nice to people. They have no control over putting my food in my fridge and don't pay for my fucking roof. So fuck them. Like at some point you got to realize, and the real tragedy in making friends and losing friends with family, with girlfriends and whatever, the time you waste with bad, toxic, manipulative people is time you could have spent really adding to the good friendships, the good relationships in your life. And sometimes I think back to I always think about relationships with women, romantic relationships. I think, could I have done more? Could I have been better? Could I have enjoyed it better? Could I have been a better boyfriend instead of wasting my time on whatever bullshit thing I was concerned with at the time? Yeah, 100%. And those are the things I come to regret. Not like, well, I wish I invested in Bitcoin. No, I'm fucking worried about how I could have been a better this or brother, friend, whatever, right? So, for me, it's I think it's important to have that cutoff, have really strict and clear boundaries. And I think the one thing I think more and more about is, giving more in relationships that do matter and not wasting time on the ones that don't.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Do you have anything to say, Cos? You haven't said it. Can I take over?
You can take over, mate.
Another question, mate. 2 questions. First of all, why do you keep going from place to place? And deeper question, do you think you're running from something?
Yeah, and will you settle somewhere?
Well, my last video in Cyprus was called The Commitment Issue or some shit, right? And 100%. I literally said in that video, like, I've been running from something. Not from something. I know exactly what it is. Like, I hated Sydney, right? I hated a lot of everything that was fucking there, right? And I was living there. And I didn't kind of realize I live in Europe until like recently, until you guys went into lockdown, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait a second. I fucking live here now. Like, there's no going back. It's, it's like the Immortal Technique song. What's it called? Something Path of No Return or shit. Point of No Return. It's like, in that song, it's like the home, like the place you thought was home doesn't exist anymore. And it's true. Like the place I grew up in, it doesn't exist anymore. Nothing that I would be familiar with it's all gone, right? I kind of realized, okay, I live here now. And if I don't set shit up in the way that I want now, in 5 years, I'm not in the next 5 years, I'm not going to be where I want to be. So, I've been running, man. I've done like, I was traveling a lot before COVID. And then COVID hit, and I traveled 3 times as fast, right? Like since COVID started in March, I went to Barcelona, I went to Greece, I lived in Rhodes, Denmark, I went to Stockholm, Paris, Nice, Monaco, Hania in Crete, then back in Athens, then Mexico, and then Salt Lake City, New York, Cyprus, Sicily, Rome, back to Nice, Barcelona. I don't fucking know. What's that, 18 fucking places? Like, I traveled more on COVID than I ever did, right? And 100%, I was running from, in my head, I think what it was, and I'm still trying to figure out what it was, but in my head, it is whatever I thought Sydney was, that's what commitment is. So I didn't want to commit. I didn't want that to happen again, right? So I kept running away from it. You can't maintain solid in-person friendships or relationships with women in 90 days. Yeah. That fucks you up, right? I was like, that's not what I want. And as I was reflecting the past 5 years, I'm like, well, I want more of the good relationships, more of the good experiences with people. And I'm limiting myself and my capabilities and my abilities to have those experiences by not staying in places, right? And you might say, oh, George travels so much. You must love travel. Meh. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not really concerned with travel. I just like sometimes, like, oh, okay, sick. That thing, the cathedral. Okay. Anyway, I just do my normal day. I just like to have shit in the background. Like, oh, yeah, cool. The Colosseum, sick. I'm not too concerned about it, right? But yeah, it's definitely community shit. But then I put a plan into place, right? I'm like, okay, instead of 30 to 60 day averages in new cities, 6 months, right? Do 6 month blocks. For Barcelona, because this is the best city in the fucking world, I'll be here like 6 months at a time each year, right? Which is plenty of time for me. And, that really works out for me. And I'll pick probably another city in Europe, probably Copenhagen. I also love that place, to do that other 4 or 5 months. And then I have to be in Cyprus every year for a few months, tax. So, So for me, it's I've put together that plan. I'm like, okay. And I always fucking hated Christmas. I fucking hate Christmas. Why? Because that's family time. What am I going to do? I've got nothing to do on fucking Christmas. That's why I hate it. But I'm like, well, I do have family in Europe. Fly to Greece for a few days, spend time there. That's being active in your own rescue. I don't need to be home depressed and Christmas, right? Go fucking €30 flight to Athens, spend some time with your family. Even if they're fucking yelling, it's fucking
Still family.
That's family. That's what family is. And I always hated that kind of bullshit, but that's what either being family or being Greek is. So, you know, but I put a plan into place, right? But also, the question I ask myself is, do I regret this shit, this crazy travel and stuff? Not one bit, man. Like, the last 5 years I've traveled and had so many ridiculous experiences. I've like filled my tank of like life experiences, right? I'm fucking 23. And most people haven't lived a life I've lived in those 5 years ever. And they're like 80, you know? So for me, I'm very glad I did this, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that I need to redirect, right? Because, you know, you live your life, you kind of write a constitution of this is how I want to live my life. And this is how I want to do things day to day over the years and how I want to achieve my goals and how I'm going to go about that. The constitutions get amended, right? So amend, you know, the way you want to do things. And that's what I think I've done in the last few months. I also always say, yeah, I like this thing. I think I'm going to stay here for a while. And then 30 days later, I'm fucking out of there. But I swear this time I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
What are your next 5 years? So staying more in the same place. What about business wise?
Man,
business the same business you've got.
Yeah. E-commerce brokers is a good fucking business. It's in a good industry, good position. I'll probably do that until I'm like mid-30s minimum. It's just in a perfect fucking time and place. I got in at the right time, and it's enjoyable for me. It's like it's sales. It's like you can't sell anything bigger than businesses unless we're talking about mega yachts and fucking mansions. There's nothing bigger than businesses. You want to sell, you know, mergers and acquisitions in the highest point of my industry. Yeah, Time and Warner, $1 billion like mergers. So this is the best of my industry, and I get to do it in a part of my industry that's very underdeveloped. Online business sales is super underdeveloped. So any dumb fuck with no degree can come in and do, and if they're good, they're experienced, and they get the job done, they can succeed. Dumb fuck with no experience, no college experience, right? But I've done this shit for so long. I saw my first business, the Facebook groups with the affiliate sites and affiliate emails, when I was 15. I've been doing this shit, like selling businesses now, my own, others, for so long, right? I'm like, oh, wait a second. I've got a lot of experience in this. And, you know, all my clients, you know, good feedback and stuff, you know, dictates that, okay, maybe we're good at this. And on a day to day, even like, you know, there's long cycles with this stuff, 6-9 months at a time. And you won't see any indicators of success or that's what you're doing is good. It's not like university. Let's do a quiz this week. And you don't get to see that shit. You gotta wait 9 months, wait 6 months. And, oh, wait a second, I made no fucking money this year, no deals or whatever. Oh, maybe I should correct course. You don't get to do that. So on a day-to-day level, you got to enjoy it and be able to correct and make sure you're doing your best. And on a day-to-day level, I love what I do. Like I get to talk to entrepreneurs about how they started their businesses and why they want to sell. And then I get to deal with the business of selling. I would do that for free. And sometimes I do. Like I enjoy this shit on a day-to-day. So even if I didn't get paid for it, I'd probably do it. I want to hear these fucking stories. Like for me, it still blows my mind that people can think, oh yeah, I can start a multi-million-dollar business. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd you get those balls? That's crazy. And then they do this crazy stuff. I'm like, fuck. And this is real world, very highly successful people. Black, white, brown, gay, straight. There's no any religion. It doesn't matter where you're from. There are entrepreneurs who have the balls, metaphorically, to go out and start a business and succeed. Like that's a beautiful thing to see, right? So yeah, regardless of monetary gain, I fucking love this thing. So I've been doing this business, and to be honest, 5 years, I don't even set goals anymore for the business. Like for the buy side stuff where we have subscriptions, sure, you can set goals, do this, do that, of course. But for in terms of deals and monetary, this and that, yeah, I have an idea of where I want it to be. But that, like with deals, the way it works is you just got to do the day-to-day grind. And as long as you're grinding every single day on the work and follow-ups and all that stuff and doing the right thing and making the right choices, the moral choices, it just comes. It's not a big concern about when. Like most of the people in my industry are 60. So in 37 years, I'll catch up to them by then. So I'm not concerned really.
Oh, fuck. The only thing I want to talk about is the Forbes 30 under 30 list. How'd you get on that in Greece?
Yeah, it's Greece. So what's a big deal?
Mate,
It's still an achievement, though.
Yeah, I mean,
what was the process?
So there was this VC that I tried to sell us a business to in 2019. A Greek bloke, good bloke. And then he referred a bunch of business to me. Now he always kept in the loop with him. But anyway, he's an A-dog. Like he knew the owner at capital.gr. That does the partnership with Forbes in Greece. He goes, hey man, I heard the fucking thing from my friend. Go apply for it. I'm like, oh, I'm mad. Why not? So he submitted the thing. I submitted the thing, all the information. They call me up. They're like, are you Greek? I'm like, fucking oath, I'm Greek. So, all right. It's a thing. We'll go ahead and we'll see. And yeah, you submit it. And yeah, we got it. But that's it. It's Greece. Big deal. You know, put in the content.
Yeah,
but
still,
it's a complication, you know, like, yeah, you know, whatever, you pat yourself on the back, but the real, and you see, but it's easy to bullshit these things. And I love in a world of bullshit that even good things are tarnished by all the level of bullshit. Because entrepreneurship is such a, for a lot of people would say, what's it called? Like a social thing, like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. All right.
It's hot. It's hot right now.
Yeah. I love the journey of being an entrepreneur. I really love what I do, like I told you guys. But I also fucking hate it. It's like a curse. Like if I could just work at Fruitex or McDonald's, or at an office job and be satisfied, I'd probably be happier than I am. The crazy fucking roller coaster ride, and like I've been sick to my fucking, to like in a hospital sick from the stress and panic attacks. Is it even worth it? I don't know. That's what being an entrepreneur is like. It really, like when people in family told me you shouldn't, you know, fuck this entrepreneurship thing, I could have stayed with my family in Sydney. I had a normal, you know, last, you know, 18 to 23 years. I said, fuck that. I'm going to go fucking struggle and be broke in random parts around the world with lonely so I can do this shit. So when I see, I remember I went on a date with this girl. She goes, what do you do? I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur, you know, I run this business and shit. So my friend's an entrepreneur too. And I'm skeptical. I go, really? Really? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what's his name? And it was some stupid fucking name. And I go, show me his Facebook. She's like, yeah, he's on Forbes. I'm like, is he? So I look at this motherfucker and I look up his Facebook and he's got like, and I know this shit because I have a friend who used to sell this shit. And I probably sold this shit at one time too. You can sell articles in shitty, made up, copyright infringing websites. So Forbes India, which doesn't exist because Forbes needs to actually have legal partnerships with places like in Greece and whatever, or they publish themselves. Whoever the fuck owns that domain, Forbes India, will you can go to that site and like, yeah, $200, hit an article. And then this fucking guy's like, this marketing entrepreneur agency, he's so like innovative, and Forbes India. And then you also see, you know, 21-year-old local singles in your area on the side, like, all right, whatever, guy. So he sees all these links, and then I'm like, okay. And I had to tell this girl, like, your friend's a fucking liar, and he's bullshitting you, because, you know, I'm skeptical like that. It's a principle. So I also Googled buying articles on Forbes India. I'm like, here's the thing, it's $200. Here's what he paid, where he paid it. Then here's the article. And I did that with 4 other of his bullshit articles. Then he's like, well, and then he also is like, thank you so much for electing me to the Forbes Council. That's a paid subscription, you fuckwit. It's not, you didn't get elected. You bought a subscription. That's like buying out Netflix. Thanks for electing me to Netflix. You didn't get elected. No one knows who you are. But beyond that, I click on his fucking stupid website link that he's so famous for, and his marketing agency doesn't exist. He just has another article about himself. And he's just a rich kid from fucking some shitty, I'm not going to say what country, but from some stupid fucking country. He's like, but his parents are super rich, and he just travels around being a fake entrepreneur. And for someone who's a real entrepreneur who travels around dying half the time broke, it's like, you're the fucking problem, man. You're why a lot of people don't like me, because they think I'm fake, which is fine. Fuck them. But at the same time, you're the reason why you're this fake bullshit, you know? And unless someone says something, they're just going to get away with it, faking shit like that. So, you know, when it comes to getting an article here and there, yeah, it's a bit of social proof. But like the people who buy my businesses and who I sell businesses to, I don't give a fuck, man. They're like, get me a business I want to see. Sell me a business I want to see. That's it. If you can do the job, they don't care what color your skin is, what religion you are, what you do at nighttime. No one gives a shit. Like, so with that being said, Forbes thing, yeah, it's nice. I'm not knocking it. But in a world where there's so much bullshit, it's like, yeah, okay, this is diminished a bit. But yeah, I'm happy about it. I can't even get an award and be happy about it.
I was about to say, we asked you, like, it was like a compliment thing, and then there was like 20 minutes about how fucking shit it is.
I know. But, you know, it is what it is. No, man, I'm happy about it. It's good. And that's like I was saying, like, at university, you get like quizzed and you can get I don't know how university works, but like I imagine your lecturer or somebody's like, yeah, he's good at what he does, needs to improve this or that. You don't get that in the real world. What you get is like, wait a second, I have no money and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. That's your indicator of success, being broke. And by then it's a bit late to fix it, you know, quickly. So yeah, no, I'm happy about it.
No, all good, man. I think that's a good little spot to
place.
wrap it. We appreciate you coming on. Good to see you and have a chat again. It's been a while.
What the fuck have you guys been up to, by the way? It's been fucking 2 hours about me.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've just been I've been working full time since school finished and doing uni full time and just in construction doing project management.
When did university finish?
I've got one subject on now because of COVID, flipped a few things around, but I finished this year. It's a 4-year degree. I studied at nights and then just worked. What was it? First year I worked 3-4 days a week and did uni 1 or 2. The second year I did 4 days of work and a day of uni. And then the last couple of years I've just done work 6 days a week and uni at nights. Or like I spent an hour every Thursday.
Bit of a workhorse.
I spent an hour every Thursday doing a uni quiz because you had to go to the fucking lecture to do the quiz at work and then back to work. And I don't know. Now I feel like you said that when you said you feel life tied. That's how I feel right now. But yeah, I'm trying to start my own little company doing like renovations and stuff now to do as a little side hustle at the moment. Hopefully, it turns into something. But yeah,
why not? But time to do it. It's your 20s. You can fuck around.
Yeah, there's not much that can go wrong. Yeah, I can always rebound from it.
For sure.
I'm in my final year. It's like a little Q&A. I'm in my final year of uni. I did business and law. See, I've got a job lined up in finance next year because it's my final year. And I'm working at an autism college as a support worker, which is like, I fucking love it. And I help my mate with his startup as well. That's kind of the things that I'm doing now. One of the reasons that we started this was the stage that I'm at, well, for me in particular, is the real world's at the door now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know, man, till I start to see what I want to do. I enjoy the degree. I cut the law because I didn't like it, but I really enjoy the finance. But for me, I want to, when I start working in that space, that's when I'll kind of know. Because like, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So for me, it'll be interesting to see when I start to see what it's like. But just from having you on, it's really nice to see someone from the same starting place that we've been at. And I'm sure a lot of people, like from our year in particular, will want to listen to hear what you've been doing. Because like you're a topical guy, especially in our year. So it's very like, it's nice to hear in like a long kind of format conversation to hear your perspective, especially after like such a, like 5 years is a long time.
You took a fucking big risk as well. So it's like, I don't know.
It's good, man. Like I'm jealous of the travel.
It's good.
It's fucking mad. Honestly, bro. It's like a mad thing.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing this podcast because I'm ready to take that fucking risk, but you've already done it 5 years ago. So it's like, fuck.
And like people will tell you, people will say like 100% people are jealous, bro. I'm jealous of that. It's fucking mad. People will say they're not jealous. Most people would be. The traveling, all that shit.
Not jealous. I just hate. People just hate that. It's like, oh, that's good on you. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, bro.
Nah. 100%. The traveling, I fucking amazing, bro. And the balls as well to do that. But yeah, man, look, I don't know. It's interesting.
I'd like to say that I took a big risk and stuff, and I did when I kind of look back. But also, how much was it? I'm making shit up on the fly, and a result. I'm just like improvising with what I can do, or I planned this. I'm this mastermind.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like I got kicked out of fucking home because my mom didn't like what I was doing with the business and shit. I didn't want to go to university and stuff. Then I had to pick up the pieces, and I couldn't go to university because I had to pay rent, and my business barely made sustainable money. So I had to make some, sort of a job and do basically a job in through the marketing agency. So a lot of it was like, oh fuck, I got to survive, and I have a dream. Sometimes you don't get to have a dream, right? You got to put the dream aside. Like, I got to pay rent this fucking week, right? And then a lot of the years, so many different challenges have come up over the years that it's like, to think that like I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and 5 years later, here I am, a successful entrepreneur. Yeah. It's like, no. That's what an arrogant bullshit entrepreneur would say. Reality is, I failed so fucking much, and really, only in September 2019 did I get my shit together, right? And that's what 2 years ago out of the 5. For 3 years, I fucked around, man. And I thought I was like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I fucked around. I always thought I was being serious, but I wasn't. I wasn't committing like I am now. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is like, it might look like I've been killing it. I took a big risk with a big plan, and the plan, worked, but it's not, not like that. I just improvised, and somehow I got back on track. Because, I remember in Bali in 2019, I was in Bali from February 12th to the 30th of August. And I went there for a recruitment job in Tokyo. Yeah. What the fuck, right?
Fuck.
I know. I was getting paid $2,000 a month. I was working 8 hours a day. So do the maths on that minimum wage, lower than minimum wage job. And I was like, yeah, this is going to work. 2 months later, I get fired. Or 3 months later, I get fired. I didn't make one fucking sale because Japanese people thought I was Indian, and they didn't have a high regard for Indian people. Not my words, theirs. And and then I was broke, and I was really fucking depressed. My parents just split. My dad stabbed me in the back. My friends didn't fucking speak to me. I'm like, my fucking world's falling apart. And that was 2019, right? I was like, I could have been like what I was thinking, I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, 2 packs of cigarettes a day, Sampurna, fucking delicious cigarettes. But I'm drinking like at the gym. I'm partying every day, and I put on heaps of weight. I would weigh 95 kilos. I weigh 80 now. I weigh 95 fucking kilos, right? And when you're 176, 77 centimeters, that's fucking crazy, right? So I was in a bad state of affairs. All I was thinking was that all my friends who in my year, all my colleagues are like, they're finishing in a year with a university degree. And here I am, a degenerate, living like a fat fuck loser, and I'm on the brink anyway.
Grass is always greener.
No money. So, and people are like, well, you're in Bali, you're traveling. Yeah, I'm in Bali because I can't afford Sydney. That's why I'm in fucking Bali, right? And then I was like, okay, well, here's a reality. You go to university, and then what? You're back here. Like, that doesn't change anything. You got a piece of paper that no one believes in. It's bullshit. You still got to do the work, right? So then anyway, I put the business together properly, and here we fucking are. But, it's like, things come and go. And as long as, I always think like, as long as you're working every day diligently and you're working on learning from your mistakes, you can't really fuck up too much, right? Things will come, things will go. If you're enjoying the process, then I wouldn't, it's not too much stress. But man, that's I guess the reality of 5 years of what I've been doing.
Life.
Yeah, beautiful.
Great way to end it.
Easy.
Thanks for that, bro.
We appreciate it, Mulata. Good to see you, man.
Love him or hate him, you got to respect him. Appreciate the time, bro.
Man,
very much so.
Thank you, Yorgo.
Plans well for you. See you,
For
mate.
sure. All
Bye.
right, take care. Ciao.